we're back. We've got our baked base and the ring around our candle holder here. That's all baked and cooled. Now we're going to start on the dragon. Now for the dragon, I've got a foil armature here. Just rip off a bit of foil and shape it into a dragonish shape. Basically a long tube. I wrapped a little extra around his belly to give him a little fat belly. And you bend his little head up here, make his tail a little bit thinner than the rest of him. That's your armature. This will make it a little easier to sculpt the dragon and have him keep his shape. And then we've still got our knitting needle with our tapestry needle on the end. Then we've got a tool for making scales on the dragon. This is actually a fingernail tool. And if you don't have something like this, you can use a small straw or a coffee straw with a little notch cut out, and that'll give you the same effect. We've got our liquid polymer clay, as always. We've got an X-Acto knife and a straight blade in case we need it. We've got a small oval cutter. Let's see here. I'll do it like this so you can see it. Small oval cutter and a small circle cutter. That falls off of there. And then for our clay, this is going to be the skin of the dragon. And I mixed some blues and greens, a little sparkle blue with a little green, and just kind of came up with a good dragon color. And then this is going to be the color for his belly scales. This is actually a pale yellow mixed with glow in the dark, so it should glow in the dark. And then we need a little bit of red just for his tongue. And then we've got a nice, and these, I don't know if you can see them or not. Let's see here, maybe if I put them on this you'll be able to see them. These are his teeth, which are pre-baked, because it's very difficult to deal with clay that small. So those are his little fangs. I just shaped them and baked them beforehand. And then we've got some pre-baked eyeballs here. Oh, and we have Calcifer. Hello, Calcifer. Calcifer likes to supervise. It's always good to have a feline supervisor. And then we've got our wing shape here. So, let us start sculpting this guy. What we want to do is cover his body with this blue clay. And I've rolled this out to about the number 3 setting on the pasta machine to give him a thin skin here. Keep him from getting too bulky. And you want to press firmly onto the foil to make sure there's no air bubbles. You can see we've got him nicely covered, and then you'll want to roll it smooth. Just roll over all your seams and smooth them out real nice. And let's see, make sure. Yeah, I'll add a little extra bit for his tail. I like dragons with long tails. So I'll just roll this neck here, taper it at the end. And just kind of press it on there and blend it in. And since he's going to be on a base, he doesn't need any additional support for his tail. If this were going to be a freestanding dragon, I would add a wire in there and press the wire into the foil. Shaped right. There we go. There we go. Nice long tail for our dragon. Now, give the head a bit more shape. Pinch the nose a bit. Press on the back of his neck and the top of his head to kind of bring it to a point back here. And I like to keep measuring him up against the holder here to make sure I've got the proper shape and keep the pose in mind. Okay, now I'm going to make his lower jaw. Alright. Now, I start with sort of an egg shape, an elongated egg shape. And what we're going to do here is we're going to pull the two sides out. Slowly but surely. And these will attach right on his jaw there. But I want to make sure I have enough so that I can blend them into the jaw. So here I need to keep measuring against him. Okay. That looks good. Now I want to hollow this out a little bit. So I just use the knitting needle and roll it back and forth a little. Okay. And then you just press the jaws flat a little bit and blend them into the side of his head. Use the knitting needle. Do the same thing for the other side. Blend the bottom of the jaw in. Okay. Make sure all your seams are blended. The tongue is very simple. It's just a tiny little bit of red. Roll it out to a point like that. And then just kind of flatten it with your knitting needle. And that gives it a little shape there. Place it on the end of your knitting needle so you can get it in his mouth. And I just leave a tiny little bit sticking out. You don't want too much sticking out because that'll break easily. Press it to the bottom of his jaw ever so slightly. And now for these fangs. And I'll admit these are difficult to deal with, but they look so cool. I'm going to give him a lip, an upper lip. So you can just position these on the outside of the face like this. Press them into the clay a little. Do the same thing for the other side and try and get them even. Press them down. Carefully put them down so your teeth don't get moved. And then we'll roll in some lips. That just kind of sounds funny. I'm rolling dragon lips. And all it is a thin little snake. Place it just so you can see it. Just kind of place it on here to measure it. And you want to cut it off right at the bottom here where the jaws join. And then we'll flatten it. And all you need to do is just press it between your fingers a little bit, flatten it out a little. You've got a little lip there, and then you want to blend the back of that and blend the top of that. Place it ever so carefully. seams blended here.